How do you approach it with the standings and not knowing where you're going to land ultimately, how Sunday plays out or next game plays out?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly just can't be any different, right? I mean, we've been in a little bit of this predicament for 4 games now, and this is the 5th, and obviously different now because it's in the moment and all that. I kind of like the fact that we're playing at 6, and then Carolina, whose game matters, and Wake, whose game matters, they play at 7. So it's like we're well into our second half when they're kicking off. So nothing matters but our game, right? What do we need to do to prepare for Miami? We need to win the game. We need to win the game for standing standpoint. We need to win the game for NCAA seeding standpoint. And so our coaches and our players shouldn't be thinking about anything else but beating Miami.
Do you try to keep that out of the ears of the players?
100%. Now, trust me, they were at our house on Sunday night and carving pumpkins, and we were watching the Wake Duke game, and they're talking about who should win the Wake Duke game and this and that, and I just pretended I wasn't listening, So they're all going to talk, and they're all going to this or that. All that matters, and I trust them because this is what they've been like, dialed into our game. What do we need to do and meet the demands of the game? And full confidence that they'll do that.
I mean, you guys are playing good soccer now. I mean, 4 straight good wins. I mean, especially that win Friday over UNC. Mm-hmm. Does this team, have they hit their groove back? Are you happy with where they are right now?
Yeah, I think we're in a pretty good place because those are good teams. Obviously Virginia from a league standing standpoint isn't where they want to be, and neither is Pitt. But they're both good teams, and we outscored those 2 teams 11-1, and we did pretty well against Carolina. So we're not doing it against cheese kind of teams. So I think our shape, our style, right, our rotation, and our confidence are all in a pretty good place. But you're only as good as your last game, and our next game is Miami, and we got to perform again. And so everything we've done is over, and it's all about Miami right now. We got to keep our foot on the gas in every way that we play.
Talk about Jordan since she's come back. I think Friday against North Carolina was kind of that 8 game for her since her return.
Yes, and Jordan's had a tough year. Like she just had this total coming out party last year that I don't really think anyone expected. Right? We knew she was going to be good for us, but she played the first 7 games as a winger for us, right? And then all of a sudden, it was the Carolina game a year ago. She also scored 2 goals, right? Playing in a 2 front. And then we played her as a center forward the rest of the year, and the rest was history, right? And then everybody's in her ear about, what are you doing? Are you staying in college? Are you going pro? All these things. And then U20 national team. And she's just had a lot on her in the last, since probably November, December of last year. And I sent her parents a text about 10 days ago saying, you know what? I think Jordan Dudley's back. Like, she's back just in this emotional place of just being a kid again and being stress-free. And I really, 50% of that was on the field, 50% of that was off the field. Like, she just looks more at peace and less emotionally heavy and less emotionally heavy on the field, right? Even in the games in August before she left, she just looked stressed, right? And she's back to just being free and not thinking, brain turned off, and just playing. And then off the field, not thinking, just being a kid and being free. And I think then the results are what you're seeing on the field.
The set piece defensive issue, is that something that you guys have kind of nipped in the bud?
Don't know. Trying. It's something that was all attention to details coming out of the Virginia Tech game. We were good against Virginia, and we were even good against Pitt. The goal against was Gilly could have just smashed the ball away and the play's over and we're not having a conversation. She thought Addie was going to grab it, and the kid snuck around her as she should and scored a goal. So that was like that was an annoying situation, right? And then the other day, I give our team credit. Like, we won both first balls, right? And I think, you can argue. We had 4 players going on the first goal, right? Cam was going for it. Addie touched it. Huff was competing for it. Gilchrist was competing for it. Helped it on. The kid finishes one time, right? We talked about it. We're like, look, one of you has to call it. Addie knows she's either got to catch that or push it on more. And then Cam's got to do a better job of managing that backspace. And she did a good job of managing that backspace. Dudley on the second one. Dudley won the first one, right? Helped it on. Ideally, it's out on the front post, but the ball's high, right? She can jump. She's tall. Helped it onto the back post. Cam goes and closes it down, hands behind her back, defends it well. Gilly thought she could win the first ball, so she sucked over. Now she's getting back across, hits her, it goes in. So it's a little bit of, oh man, a little bit of, I'm not trying to cry in my spilt milk here, but our kids did a lot of things right in those moments, right? It wasn't flaky moments. So, you know, while it's unfortunate, right, I'm still looking at a glass half full. In these 4 games, we haven't given up a goal in the run of play. A little bit of just total freak, the same kid, back post, within 2 minutes, you know. So, little bit it is what it is, but still talking out the little things that did go wrong.
So, Coach, always interesting going down to Miami. They've got that narrow field. Do you change any of your
Great question.
any of your tactics because you know that it's going to be a little bit narrow? You're not going to be able to go out as wide as you normally do. Do you adjust for that at all?
Yeah, great question. You know, we're going to watch some video here in an hour, and I said it to Bobby, who's putting together the scout on Miami. Like the camera at Miami is great, and it's not a total bird's eye view or drone situation, but it's pretty high. And you look at that camera and those angles, and we're going to say this to our team, there's plenty of places to play. And we're going to look at Miami switching the point of attack. We're going to look at some of their opponents switching the point of attack. There's a lot of space on the other side. So we got to use the whole field. And they may try to congest things and get in our face and make it a smaller field, but we're not going to play into it's a small field and it's hard and we can't be ourselves and whine and cry about it, because you're looking at video right now, guys, of being, there's plenty of space. So we got to make sure we do a good job, whether that's dropping out or being really big in our attack and changing the point or finding the moments to play beyond them. Whatever it is, I don't know what it is lengthwise. I think it's probably pretty close to 120. Widthwise, it's probably only about 68. There's still plenty of yardage to do what we need to do. That will be the message.
Absolutely. How do you feel about, so it seems like now you've got the same starters going for the last few games. It seems like you've got your rotation pretty set. Do you feel like you've kind of passed the tinkering stage where you kind of know where you are as a team to get everybody back? How do you feel about where you are in that respect?
I feel really good. You know, now I will say that Laura Dantas hurt her foot at the end of the game the other day, and it's not great. So she'll be out Thursday. So we won't have the same starting lineup this week. But I think McGovern can give us more minutes in midfield. I think Puerta and Suarez can give us minutes in midfield if we need it. So I think we can obviously still put things together as we've been doing. I think what where the tinkering comes in is just opponent based, right? And how direct do we need to be in certain games, and like we were the other day, getting the ball forward and then playing in our opponent's half versus kind of swinging it side to side before going forward. And I think Thursday night might be an opportunity where it gives us an opportunity to make choices based on what Miami's presenting. They've played in about 1,000 different shapes, and so we don't know what we're going to see Thursday night. We got to be able to take what the game gives us, and if that means changing the point and that means being direct, I think that's the tinkering. But we like our shape, and we like the different players that are playing in it. We like going, 14, 15, 16 deep with it.